Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to make these little 3 to 6 month baby booties. This is a cuff, so we're going to make the cuff as well. So you can have the cuff up as a little socky or down for a booty for 3 to 6 months. Let's get started. So I'm going to use yellow because it's going to be easier to see. This has to be worsted. I designed the booties with worsted yarn, so if you're not using worsted, then it's going to come out a lot smaller than it should. It'll come out preemie size instead of 3 to 6 months. So I'm using a 5mm H. So let's begin with the magic ring. And you're going to put 6 single crochets inside this ring. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch. So if you're going to use a marker, it goes in after the first stitch. I'm just going to count to 12, putting 2 in each stitch. So this guy tells me that I'm back around, this guy right here. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochet and an increase. So that's 1 single crochet. Then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, all the way around. And at the end you should have 18 stitches. So you have 18 stitches, and in the next 7 rows I want you to put 1 single crochet in each of those 18 stitches. I will put my pause screen up and I will see you on the other side. Alright, so I've got my 7 rows done. So your next round you're going to do 12 single crochets. That's number 1 with your marker. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn. And you're going to do 12 single crochets back across. Now make sure you get into this very first stitch. You have to pull this back to see it. That'll keep your side straight and the right enough stitches. Number 12 is under the marker. You don't need this marker right now, so you can just set that aside and use that stitch. That's number 12. You're going to chain 1 and turn. So you're going to decrease these first 2. So you're going to see it written as SC2 tog. And that means to single crochet 2 together, which is a decrease. So you're going to go into the first stitch, you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to go into a second stitch and pull up a loop. That gives you 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So now you're going to do 8 single crochets. And you're going to single crochet these last 2 together. Chain 1 and turn. And we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to decrease these first 2. So we're going to do 6 single crochets in between, and then we're going to decrease the last 2. That's 6 single crochets, and then you're going to decrease these last 2. Chain 1 and turn. Decrease. And now you're going to do 4 single crochets. And then you're going to decrease these last 2. Chain 1 and turn. One more time. Decrease. 2 single crochets. And then you're going to decrease these last 2. You're going to chain 1 and turn. So that is it. That we've just made the heel for your slipper. So that's what you should have. This is what it should look like. So now we're going to do these 4 single crochets that we have along the top. We're just going to put a stitch in each one of them. And then I need you to make 6 stitches down the side. Now there's no stitches to follow, so you're going to have to create stitches. So wherever you can just stick in your hook and evenly go down through this and make 6 stitches. So that's my 6. And then you need to follow these 6 stitches all the way across. And 6 stitches back up this side, creating stitches. Now preferably in the same spots as you went. So my last stitch was in this hole here. So I'm going to put a stitch in there like before. And then this big space, I'm going to put a stitch in there. So I'm going to try to do what I did last time. So that's my 6 stitches up. And so we're back to the top where I've already put stitches. So your next stitch is going to be the first one of your next row, and that's where we're going to put the stitch marker. So now I want you to do 5 single crochets and a decrease 3 times. That's number 1. That's 5 single crochets and then a decrease. And repeat. and then 1 single crochet in this last stitch. This is what you should have, and that's what your heel should look like. You can see it changing directions. So your next round is going to be a decrease right off the hop, so 1 decrease, with your stitch marker, and now you're going to do 17 single crochet. And the only reason for that is because I needed it down to a specific number, which is 18, which is what we started with. It needs to be all the same size. So that's my 17 single crochets. So now I have 18 because I didn't count this one. I counted this as a decrease. So with this one and then the 17, now I have 18 stitches around, which is exactly what I had down here. So that was the reason for that. So now for the next 2 rows, I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each of these 18 stitches. And I will see you on the other side. So I've done my 2 rows of 18s. You're going to slip stitch into your next stitch, and you're going to chain 2. So now we're going to do the cuff part. So right now you have this little booty part, and that's what it should look like if we've done everything right, which you can't really screw this up. So if you wanted to change colors here to do a different cuff, so let's change colors just for fun. You don't have to do this. I just want to show you, the different styles, obviously, that you can do. So I'm going to put a glittery white cuff on here. You can make this a slip knot if it's easier. You don't have to even switch colors, let alone make a slip knot. So I'm going to come through this stitch. I'm going to pull down as tight as I can on my yellow and my white. Oh, my white ball's on. And I'm going to chain 2 with my new color. So you got to really make sure you pull down on your yellow. So I'm going to take my yellow and my white, just so I don't have to screw around later, and I'm going to tie a knot, tie a double knot with it. Just so I don't have to weave it in and do all that nonsense. And then I'm just going to cut it off, and now I'm only using the white. That way you don't have to, it's another option, you don't have to weave anything in. So now with my white, so hopefully you can still see this okay, I've chained 2, and I'm going to put a double crochet in each stitch around. So now I only have 17 stitches because I used my 18th stitch for the slip stitch area. So I want to put another double crochet into that same space, because I'm going to use this to slip stitch too. So put a double crochet in that same space, and then double crochet in each stitch all the way around. This is just your base for building the cuff. If you don't want a cuff on this, then you're all done. So I'm back around. So this first chain 2 that I did, I'm going to go to the very top of that and find the stitch. So it should be the third stitch up. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to slip stitch. And I'm going to chain 2. So now we're going to be doing front post, back post, double crochet. And we're going to do it for 4 rows. And I'll show you how to count your rows if you get lost. So we're going to start with this front post. So yarn over, go in and around this front post. Grab your yarn, pull through, and complete the double crochet. For this next post, you're going to go behind it. So you're going to yarn over, and you're going to come from behind, and you're going to put it on your hook at the back. So that's how you pick up the post for the back post. You come from the back and go out the other side, right around the post. Yarn over, pull through. Now you're going to have to do a funny manipulation there to pull it through and complete the stitch. Now we're going to do front post again and complete the stitch. Back post, which means we come through the back, we go around the post, picking it up, pull through. You're going to have to fold it and bend it, and you know, it's not easy to pull through. Once you get onto it, it's fine. Now we're going to do front post. So we're going to do that all the way around. Front post, back post, front post, back post. So I'm back around to where I started. This was my chain 2. So I did this final post, but I didn't touch this chain 2 part from the previous row. I'm going to go to the top of this. There's a chain right there, and I'm going to slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 2. So that's our first row. So you'll be able to see if you pull it apart, this is front post because it's right in the front, and you got that great big knobby right there. And then this, you can see you've got a bar going across of it, that's the back post. And that bar is how you're going to count your rows. This bar that goes across the back post. So your front posts are right up here looking at you, and then your back posts are tucked behind this bar right there. I can't get my hook into the whole thing, but there's a bar that's got multiple pieces, and that's your back. So that's how you know what a back post and a front post look like. So that's the bar that you're going to use to count your rows. So we're on row number 2. We're going to follow the exact same thing. So right at the beginning is a front post because I've got this bunch looking at me here. So you're going to go in. You don't have to go in these 2 tiny little holes here. You just go right around the post. Like that. you're going to follow the exact same thing. So now we've got this one. This has the bar in front of it. So we're going to come from behind because this is a back post. And we're going to do the back post. Front post. Back post. Front post. Front post is the easy one. The back post usually gets everybody. And the back post. Just remember, the back post you come in from the back. Just about back around. So that's my chain 2 from the beginning. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that. So you got 2 more rows to do, and I just wanted to show you all stretched out. You've got, get close up here. You've got these 2 bars now, so you've done 2 rows, and that's how you're going to count your rows here without stretching it out. It looks like you've got a number of bars. Let's cover my light. But you've got this bar and this bar. So that's how you're going to know how many rows. I mean, you only got 2 more to do, so it's not like you're going to lose count. But in the future, if you wanted to know. And then just remember, because I'm going to leave you to do the last 2 bars. That's your front post, and it's right, if I turn it to the side, you can tell. Your front post sticks up. It's looking right at you. Your back post is under these bars that you're counting. So that's your back post to get into. So do your other 2 rows. I'm going to put the pattern for the boot on, the little booty, on the screen so you can make your other booty. And I will meet you back here and we'll finish it off. So I am done my second slipper, so I am just going to slip stitch and fasten off with just enough to weave with. And I did forget to mention on this other slipper, we forgot that we needed to take care of this business, because the last thing you need is any kind of yarn wrapping around baby's little toe. So what I like to do is to tie a knot. So make sure that's pulled tight when you do this. So tie a wee little knot. It's going to be a wee little knot, so it's not going to be felt. But you can't just cut it off. You have to weave it in. So just weave it in on the top pieces of yarn. It is really, really tight in here. Just want to make sure I'm not going through. So again, just pull to make sure that center's closed. And weave in different directions, like you would normally weave something. It's super duper tight. So I don't think it's gonna come undone or anything. And I'm gonna weave back this way. I'm just under this layer, so I'm not going through to the other side. And then you can cut it off. That way there's absolutely nothing there. I had forgotten to mention that. And then when I was doing my other one, I thought, oh yeah, I forgot to mention what to do with that. So anyway. So back to this one. So I weaved, you probably already know this from doing your last one. I weaved on this side because we're going to fold it over. So I just went down into the stitch and I just followed this line. And I just went back up. That's just going to get folded down. There we go. There are our baby booties. So, according to my chart, 3 to 6 months is supposed to be, so this is your heel, that's your toe. It's supposed to be 4 inches. So I am exactly 4 inches at my heel. Our booty size, 2.5. I guess that's what it means. Thanks for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.